Hello everyone and welcome to this lecture of strength of material. This class is dedicated to a numerical that we are going to solve to understand the entire concept of transformation of plane stress, where we are going to solve the normal stress on an oblique plane, shear stress on an oblique plane, principal stress and the maximum shear stress. So here is our problem where we are having a stress element on which 50 megapascal, 10 megapascal and 40 megapascal stresses are acting. These two are the normal stress and 40 megapascal is your shear stress, and we have to find the normal and shear stress on an oblique plane having angle 30 degree from this vertical wall. So the first thing before I start the problem, I would like to discuss that why we represent a problem of transformation of plane stress with this square stress element. So actually what happened that if we are having a body and we are applying axial force, for example here I am showing that I am applying force sigma x. So this is the actual body, but I assume a small element which going to represent the entire body. So here I can show that instead of using the entire body, I can consider this small element where I am having the axial force sigma x. Similarly, I can apply sigma y and can be represented by just one stress on this small stress element, or we may have the shear stress. When we want to solve this problem, we have to use some set of formulas, and I would recommend you to please remember this formula. This formula is going to save a lot of time in your exam. So here the list of the formula. The first formula is corresponding to your normal stress, that if you are having any oblique plane, you can find the stress value on that oblique plane using this formula. But what is our convention? There is a fixed convention for putting the value of stress as well as the theta. And what is my convention? I'm going to use tensile stress as positive, maybe on the x-axis or along the y-axis. If it is compressive stress, means the arrow is towards the body, then I'm going to use a negative sign for that particular stress. Second is the shear stress, that is sigma tau xy. So if the stress is of counterclockwise, normally when you will see the book, you will find that if my shear stress is counterclockwise, it will be positive. But how it will look like on this small stress element? So if your arrow is acting upward direction here and downward direction here, so this is your front side and you are having a stress which is upward and downward in this way. That means the sense of the couple is counterclockwise. So this type of shear stress will be considered positive in this set of formula. If your stress is opposite to that, that means if you are having a stress in this way, that will be negative. And please remember that shear stress is not represented with these two arrows. We always represent the shear stress with this set of four arrows. That means we will also have this set of arrow, and that we call the complementary shear stress. So whenever you are having a forward arrow at the top surface or arrow acting upward direction on the front surface, your shear stress will be positive. And if you will remember this sign convention, you will save a lot of time in your exam. So I will request again that please remember the formula as well as our sign convention. The third one is the theta value. So please remember that we always measure the theta from the vertical wall. Means if I want to find the stress on this plane AB, I'm going to use this theta value, and I will put this theta value in this formula. So if I let this is 30 degree, so in the formula it will be cos 2 into 30 or cos 60 degree. Similarly, if I want to find the stress on this plane, my convention always says that you have to measure the stress from the vertical wall. So we have to consider a wall here, and then we have to measure this angle. We know that this is our theta 1 which is given in the problem, so we have to add a 90 degree in this, and ultimately we are going to put this theta 1 plus 90 degree in this formula. All other things will remain same, the only difference is the theta. Similarly, you are having a plane which has been shown here, and you have to find the stress on this plane. So this is simple case, you have to simply measure this angle. and this theta 3 you are going to put when you want to find the stress on this plane. So similarly, once you will understand one particular numerical considering all these formulas, it will be very easy for you to tackle all sort of problems. So let's start our problem, and here instead of solving the problem directly, what we will do, we will solve the problem step by step. First we will consider only one stress, then other stress, and we will also see that if there is only one stress, how your system will behave and how you will find the normal stress as well as the principal stress. So let's start with the first case where we are having only one normal stress represented by the 50 megapascal acting in the x direction, and we have to find all the value: normal stress, shear stress, position of principal plane, its magnitude as well as the maximum shear stress, and theta value is given as 30° measured from the vertical plane. So here is the set of my formula which we have already seen, and now one by one let's apply this formula. So for the normal stress, I know that my sigma x is plus 50 here. All other stresses are 0. So when I will put all the value in this formula, I will get my normal stress will be what? 50 by 2 plus 50 by 2 cos 60° plus 0. So here I will get my shear stress will be 25 plus 25 into 1 by 2, that will be 37.5 with positive sign. And I know that my normal stress positive, that means it will be away from the body, so this will be the representation of my normal stress. Let's try to find the shear stress on this plane AB. So I will put value in this formula. So shear stress on AB will be what? It will be minus 50 minus 0 by 2, and it will be sine 60°. So I will get my shear stress is what? It will be minus 25 into root 3 by 2. So it will be minus 12.5 root 3. It is negative, and we have seen that if the shear stress have counterclockwise sign represented by the uh, positive sign. So here it is negative, that means my arrow will be downward side. So this is the representation of my shear stress AB. Please remember, if the arrow is downward, it represents the negative shear stress. If it is upward, it will represent the positive shear stress. Now let's try to find out the value of maximum principal stress, maximum normal stress plane or your principal stress plane. So I have to use this formula. In this formula, I can see that there is no shear stress on the body. So I will have tan inverse 0. So my 2 theta p will be what? Tan inverse 0, and I will get one angle 0°, and we know that the tan theta has similar value in a quadrant which is 180° away. So I can get the other theta value, that will be this angle plus 180. As it is 0, so the second angle will be 0 plus 180. Now these two planes representing the maximum normal stress or the principal stress plane, and the magnitude of principal stress will be what? So first let's try to represent these two principal planes on the figure. So here, if I will make the stress element, and what is the value of theta p? Theta p will be 0 and 90°, because this is 2 theta p, and I have to represent the plane with the theta p, so it will be 0 and 90°, and I always measure angle from this vertical side. So this plane will become my first principal plane, so it will have a value sigma p and value 0°, and the 90° away means the second one will be the this side. So this would be corresponding to the second principal stress. And if I will find the magnitude of my principal stresses, I will put sigma x 50. So the principal stresses P1 and 2 will be what? 50 by 2 plus minus 50 by 2. So I will get two value. One is corresponding to one principal stress, that is 50. Another one is corresponding to second, that will be 0. So you can see here my input was also a stress along this direction, that was of magnitude sigma x 50, and I am getting this itself as a principal stress. So this is the case whenever we are having only one normal stress, that normal stress itself become the maximum stress, and that is the definition When we are having combined stress, then only we need to define the principal plane, because in case of combined stress, no longer the any of the side of this stress element will be as a maximum stress, and the a plane which is having a different orientation will be of maximum stress value. So in this case, as I am having only one stress, it will become my one of the principal plane, and the maximum value of the stress will be 50. Second one will be on the other side, and that is having 0 degree. So these two are my principal plane. Now the last thing is the maximum shear stress plane. So when I will put 2 theta s with this formula, tau is 0. So I will get tan inverse infinity. In this case, the position of the maximum shear stress plane will become what? So my 2 theta s is what? Tan inverse infinity. So the angle will be what? Angle will be 90 degree, and 90 plus 180. So it will be 270. So theta s will be 45 degree as well as the 135 degree. So if I will represent these two stress plane on the stress element, as this is the problem where I am having sigma x 50 MPa, one of principal plane is at an angle of 45 degree from the vertical side. So I will measure an angle of 45 degree, and the diagonal of this square box will represent one maximum shear stress plane. And if I will calculate the value of maximum shear stress, I have to use this formula, where I am going to represent sigma x, all other stresses will be 0, and the value of maximum shear stress will be plus minus 25. So the magnitude of tau max is plus minus 25, and the second maximum shear stress plane is at an angle of 135 degree. So whenever we are having a plane which is more than 90 degree, what will we do? We consider this line and measure angle from here. So this is 90 plus 45 degrees, so I will get this 135 degree, and this would be my other maximum shear stress plane. So please remember, in case of only one normal stress which is acting along the x direction, the two diagonals of this square stress element represent the maximum shear stress plane, and the two sides of this stress element become the principal planes corresponding to the two principal stresses. Similarly, if I am having only one stress acting in the y direction, so here this is the representation of my stress, and we can see here that the arrow is acting towards the body. That means my sigma y will be minus 10 MPa, as it is of compressive nature. So when I will apply my sigma y using all the set of formula, this would be the stress value. Here I have already solved the problem. The first will be the normal stress, and that would be minus 10 by 2 plus this value, and I will get a value of minus 2.5 MPa. Similarly, I am calculating the shear stress on an oblique plane of 30 degree. So I am getting a value of minus 2.5 root 3. So let's try to represent these two stresses on the stress element. And I know that if the stress, normal stress is positive, it will shown by arrow moving away. So this is my plane at an angle 30 degree, and my normal stress is of minus value of 2.5. That means it will be represented by this arrow, and the magnitude 2.5. So I'm not going to put negative sign now, because I have already placed arrow which is representing the compressive nature. Similarly, the shear stress is of magnitude minus 2.5 root 3. So it will be represented by this arrow, and the magnitude 2.5 root 3. After the normal stress and shear stress, let's try to see the position of principal plane. So this would be my formula. Here also the tau is 0. So my 2 theta p will be 0. So angle will be what? 0 and 180. I am representing theta p, that will be 0 and 90, because 2 theta p will be 0 and 180. So theta p will be 0 and 90 degree. So in this case also, the two sides will be of principal stresses. So one side this one, another side will be this one. And when I will calculate the magnitude, I will use this formula, and my magnitudes are 0 and minus 10. So for the first value, that is at 0 degree, for this the principal plane stress will be 0. and for the second plane which is at the 90° it is -10, that means this value. So this is my sigma p2, and which is equivalent to what? Sigma y. So here also, if I am having only one normal stress, that normal stress itself become my principal stress. And lastly is the position of maximum shear stress plane as well as the magnitude of maximum shear stress. So here also we are having the infinite with respect to the tan inverse, and the position of the two maximum shear stress plane are 45° and 135°. That means here also, when I am having only one normal stress of magnitude -10, the two diagonal of this square element will represent the maximum shear stress plane, and the value of the maximum shear stress will be +5 and -5 MPa. That has been calculated by using this formula. So as now we have seen the two normal stress corresponding to x and y direction, let's see the third case where we are having only shear stress applied on the stress element. So this is the third case where we are having a shear stress of magnitude 40 MPa, and here also we have to find the value at an angle of 30 degrees. So here I have solved the problem. For the normal stress, I am going to put only shear stress. My sigma x and sigma y are 0. So the normal stress is 20√3. Similarly, the shear stress on the oblique plane AB is coming out +20 degrees. So let's try to represent these two stresses. This is my oblique plane, and I have to represent the normal stress. So my normal stress is +20√3. That means it will be away from the body, so it will be plus, so 20√3. My shear stress is positive this time. Positive means it will be represented by this arrow, and the magnitude will be what? Magnitude will be 20. So this is my shear at plane AP, and this is my normal stress. Now the position of principal plane, as sigma x and y are 0, when I will put sigma x and y 0 in this formula, tan inverse will be infinity, and the two values will be 90 and 270, that is 2 theta p. So theta p will be 45 and 135. So if you will recall previous two cases, this was the position for maximum shear stress, but here now it becomes the position for maximum normal stress, and these two angles are just two diagonal plane. So one plane here, one plane here. This is of angle 45 degree, and this is of angle 135 degree. So in case when we are having only shear stress as an acting force, the normal stress, the maximum normal stress planes are the two diagonal of this stress element, and the magnitude of principal stress are plus minus 40 megapascal. So we can represent two stresses that would be away from the body, it is plus 40, another one will be towards the body, so it will be with the minus 40. So just 40 because arrow moving towards the side. So these two values are of my representing the two principal stresses. Then lastly, the maximum shear stress plane. So I will put 0 here, and the 0 and 180 degrees. So my theta is will be what? 0 and 90 degree. So in this case, the two sides will become of maximum shear stress plane. So this is of 40 degree, 40 megapascal, and this is also of 40 and 40. So you can see here that for 0 degree it is having maximum value plus 40, and for the 90 degree it is having value of minus 40, because first value is corresponding to first angle and second value is corresponding to second angle. So you can see here that this is of counterclockwise, so positive, this is of clockwise, so negative. After understanding all the three cases, let's try to attain the problem which was there in the question. So this is your problem where all the stresses are acting on the body, and from my sign convention, let's see what is sigma x. This is of the tensile nature, it will be of plus 50. Second is of 40, it is also 10, it is of compressive nature, so sigma y will be minus 10, and this is my shear, and I can see that this is towards the right side, so this would be left side, and it is having a clockwise, so the complementary will be counterclockwise. And according to my sign convention, a vertical shear stress on the front face will be positive, so my shear stress will be what? Plus 40. So using these three values, I can apply using our formula and we can get the value of all the stresses. So here is the set of formula and let's try one by one. When I will try to find the normal stress, my normal stress will be what? It will be 50 minus 10 divided by 2 plus 50 minus 10 divided by 2 cos 60 degree, because my theta is what? Theta is 30 degree. So 2 theta will be 60 degree and the plus 40 sine 60 degree. When you will solve this equation, you will get a value of 69.4 ampere. That is of positive magnitude. Similarly, when you will put all the value together in the shear stress formula, you will get your shear stress will comes out as let's see that minus plus 50 minus 10 by 2 sine 60 degree plus 40 cos 60 degree. So you will get a value that will be minus 7 ampere. You can represent these two on the diagram as the normal stress is positive. That means it will be represented by arrow moving away, and this would be my normal stress of magnitude 69.4. And the shear stress is negative, so negative means it will be in this direction and it will be of magnitude 7. After calculating the normal and shear stress, let's try to find out the value of principal plane. So I will put value in 2 theta p formula, that is 10 inverse 2 into 40 divided by 50 minus 10. So I will get 10 inverse 8 by 6. And when I will calculate this 10 inverse, I will get my 2 theta p's coming out 53.1 and the second angle will be just a plus 180 degree. So these are the two position of my principal plane, and when I will calculate the magnitude of principal plane using this formula, the P1 and P2 will be what? So 50 minus 10 by 2 plus minus under root 50 minus 10 by 2 whole square plus 40 square, and you will get this value as plus 70, and when you will consider the negative sign you will get minus 30. So these two values are representing two principal stresses corresponding to two angles. So when I will try to represent these value on my diagram, that theta p is what? Theta p is one half of this value, so that will be 26.6, and second one will be half of this value, so 90 plus 26.6, that will become 116.6 degree. So these two are the position of my principal plane. So let's see how we will represent these two plane. This is 26.6 and we measure the angle in counterclockwise direction. So this would be my first plane having angle of 26.6 degree. And the value of the normal stress is plus 70. So this would be represented by this 70 m. Similarly, when I am having second plane that is with 90 degree. So how I will represent this? As we know that the angle is more than 90 degree, what I need to do? I have to consider this vertical line. I have to measure my angle from this line in the counterclockwise direction. So my plane will be in this way and the total angle will be what? 116.6 degree. And these two plane will be 90 degree with respect to each other. So this is my second principal stress plane, and if I will see the value, that is minus 30 means of compressive nature. So this is the second principal stress represented by the 30 value. I am not putting minus sign here because already arrow showing the compressive nature. So these two are the principal planes and the principal stresses. Now the last is the maximum shear stress. So when I will consider this 2 theta s and 10 inverse, I will get just opposite formula of this value. So it will be 6 by 8 because it is just inverse with a negative sign. So I will get minus 6 by 8. When I will calculate the 2 theta s, I will get a value that is minus 36.8. So this is one of the key result of this problem, because here we are having 2 theta s as minus and the second value will be what? Minus 36.8 plus 180 degree. because we always add 180 degree in the angle. So the second angle will become was 71 point. When I will try to represent these two values on my stress, how it will look like, let's see here. So this is my stress element, and we always measure angle in the counterclockwise direction from this vertical side, but here we are having a value of theta s that is of 18.4, and the second value will be, sorry, it will be not 71.2, it will be 71.6. So the second will be what, 71.6, and other one will be 18.4. So you can see here these two planes are also 90 degree to with each other, but this is with the negative sign. So how to represent a negative angle? We always measure counterclockwise. So here we have to measure a plane which is in the clockwise direction. So in case of clockwise direction, I have to move in this direction with a value of 18.4, and this would be my plane of maximum shear stress. But actually this is out of the body, so what I need to do, I have to replace this plane inside the body. So this would be my plane, and this angle will be what, this will be of 18.4 degree, and this plane represent the maximum shear stress plane. What would be the value of maximum shear stress? So when I will put all the value in the formula, that what formula I have to use, this formula, I am getting a value of plus minus 50. So for this plane the maximum shear stress will be of plus 50 magnitude, and when I will represent the second plane will be as usual counterclockwise with a measurement of 71.6 degree. So here I will measure the second plane in this direction with value 71.4. So let's see it separately. The second plane will be in this direction with a value of 71.6, and this would be your second maximum shear stress plane, and the value corresponding to this plane will be what, tau maximum at this plane will be minus 50. So here we are having these two would be my maximum shear stress plane. One is corresponding to angle of minus 18.4 degree, another one with the 71.6 degree, and value are plus 50 and minus 50. These two are my two principal plane. One is at 26.6 degree and 116.6 degree. So I hope that after looking all different cases, now you are having understanding how to apply given stresses in the formula, as well as how to represent all the stress on this small stress element. And please remember that whenever we measure the theta, we always measure theta with the vertical. In the last, let's see a special case where we are representing the stress element corresponding to hydrostatic loading. Hydrostatic loading means if you are having this stress element in the depth of some water. For example, if you will dip your material in depth of the sea, you will getting a force value which will be equal in all direction, and that will be just a representation of pressure at that level. So this is the representation of hydrostatic loading, and we are having pressure which is of compressive nature equal in all direction and no shear stress. So here my sigma x will be minus p, my sigma y will also be minus p, and shear will be 0. So when I will calculate the normal stress, it will comes out minus p, and you will find that for all the theta value it will be minus p, because when you will see the formula of normal stress, it is having sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus sigma x minus sigma y by 2 cos 2 theta plus tau sine 2 theta. So no shear, so it will not be there. These two terms will cancel out. So for all the theta value, your normal stress will become what, p plus p by 2, so it will be minus p. That means for all the theta value for any oblique plane, your normal stress will always remain compressive and the magnitude will be minus p. When you will calculate the shear stress, it will be 0. That means for all the planes, now oblique plane, the shear stress will be 0. Similarly, when you will calculate the principal stress, your principal stress will also be minus p and minus p. And what would be the value of principal plane? Your principal plane value, you can calculate that 2 theta p is equal to 10 inverse 2 tau by sigma x minus sigma y. So here it is a combination of 0 by 0 case. In this case, all planes are principal plane, because you can see here that this is indeterminate condition, or this is a special case. So in case of hydrostatic pressure, all planes are principal plane. Please remember, at all plane your normal stress will be same. At all plane your normal stress or your principal stress will be represented by minus p, and for all the plane your shear stress will be 0. So this is very special case, and different objective type questions come from hydrostatic loading. In case of Mohr circle, which we will study in our next class, we will see that for the hydrostatic pressure your Mohr circle is represented by a point, and because of that all the stresses, whether it is normal stress or it is principal stress, your stress value will same, and that is equivalent to minus p. So with this note I am closing my today's session. Soon I will come back again with the problem of concept of Mohr circle. Thank you.